Yeah, welcome to this live webcast. In this episode, I will show a little about what we have actually done with the Figaf IRT tool, why we have developed, and some of the reasons behind it. So we know that integration is something and always a bit challenging, and figuring out how it always works and who you are dealing with. And I want to make and I know that there's a lot of areas in the integration where you have challenges and you need to figure out how to actually improve them, making it a lot easier to run SAP integration, testing, and stuff like that. So that is a bit of what we've done with this new release of the Figaf IRT 2.7, and that's actually, I think it's probably one of the biggest release. So one of the things we have been pending on this is we wanted to rewrite a lot of our alerting and rule engines, so we have done a lot of work on setting that one up, and that has taken some focus away, and now we're actually able to run it and are able to run alert from our system. So the reason why we wanted this is in API management. One of the things that so I guess like a month ago or something like that, I thought, well, API management, we don't have a real transport solution. SAP has something on the roadmap, most likely with CTS Plus at some point in time. But we already have a lot of all the components for our PI or our ERT transport. So I thought, well, we could couple these things together. So we now have the option of, just log in here. So let me show the screen. So hopefully you can see the screen right now. So we'll log into the new UI. What you will then see is we have our tracked objects. We now have the option actually to have API proxies in, and what we do have here is we can do versioning of your API proxy. You can see, so you have the option actually to do versioning of these different things, compare them and see when something was changed, what was added. And here we can see one of the new things that we have added, and this is the ability to log errors in really an easy way. If you have any questions, do put them into the comment sections, and I'll try to answer them as fast as possible. So what we did is we added this button. So transport management here, you can create a ticket for this. So normally our ticket is service request numbers, but it's just an abstraction of don't write in live webinars of a collection of changes. So what we can see here is then we have this. We can see if there's any alerts that have been attached to this. But we have the transport here, and here we have set up a transport scenario for this. We can select our patch here, and then so with this we can then just transport this package to our QA system. Really simple. So this, well, something may not be working right now. Guess we need to check this out and see if it's just the zip file that is not synchronized correctly or something like that. But the idea is actually to make it easier to transport your scenarios between the systems. But what I wanted to show you, the thing we added is this one, that will then add the Figaf error handling policies, and with this you have the option actually to see when an error is triggered. You will then, in our support tool, we have added an option to see alerts. So here you can see we have triggered some new north wind one. We have a spike arrest. rule that we have set up. And here we can see all the data about this. We can add a new rule if we wanted to, that where we have the option to write some specific information, extract some payload, send it to specific emails, and this has been the part that has taken a bit of time, just rewriting all of this alerting capability. So what you would add up with is a set of rules that is then executed one by one, that will then send the messages, because, well, there is standard ways in API management that allow you to set up alerting, and you can log it to other providers, and this is pretty okay. But it does have some challenges. There's like a steep learning curve adding this before you can do it. So I just wanted to make a simple approach, and then we are just using the KVM for it. So that's a little of what we have done. SAP have also last month released the PIT tool, which is SAP's testing suite, and I'm not sure why it's not here. Maybe it's on the wrong system, or we refreshed it. But what we simply have is that once you have done your test cases, you have a way to I'm not sure, let's see if it's on this one. It is on the newest release. We have our testing template, and a testing template is like a test suite that contains multiple messages. So what we do have here is, if we have run these, we need to run these tests, and then this will send a message through the system, and we probably need to refresh this UI also. Then maybe I don't have a license for it. Then you'd see a button here, and this button would then allow you to export this test case to the PIT, or so you would simply open a full test suite with the PIT solution, making it a lot easier to create these. And so this is a license feature, and if you have the system and we have added this function for you, you would then actually be able to export and handle it in this way. So yeah, if you're viewing live, do put a comment. If there's any questions, I'd like to hear those and comments. It's always interesting to hear what people are saying. So that was a lot of our, that was one of the new features we've added. We also have added this support tool, and this would actually allow you to monitor your CPI system, what the performance is, how much CPU usage each of them have. I think the important one is the one that says of latency here, so you can see what's the latency of a specific iFlow, how's the tenants working, are they down for some period of time. And then next up is adding this to a way that would actually allow you to run more proactive tests that would then be able to actually send this data directly to a specific user. This seems a bit strange. When I'm viewing it in the live mode, it seems a little different than on my screen, but oh well. So I think this is important because you want to know how they are performing, how the systems are behaving, and if there's any problems, it's better to be proactive and figure out, okay, my management suite is down, what do I need to do? Do I need to contact anybody, or is this just a pre-dilemma for something, and we'll then look at what SAP have, if they have reported this, or this is something we need to report. And obviously SAP is will be monitoring this, but I think it's also a good idea if you have some measurements yourself of these things, and this is an area that we will improve. I guess this was not released in the earlier one, so we have added an option actually here to create. Yeah, I think that's first been come in this release, but I guess I've teased this before. This is the ability for you to create focused views. So you can have an HR interface, and here you want to look at messages from a specific period of time, past week maybe. You can set up rules and say, okay, this is only these specific users, and then you can specify one or more scenarios that you want to listen for in this period of time. So it will then, what you can then do is you can give the users access to view just this specific iFlow, or the specific iFlow for this period of time. We can see it if we then go into the viewing mode. There's a space in it. Maybe that is causing some problem. Oh well. Maybe there's a little bug we need to fix there. So let's just fix this. Maybe it's something with the roles and how they're handled. So here we can see this overview of what's being processed. We can see there's actually quite a lot of data from the other ones, and if we just want to see a specific iFlow, we can also filter down to those. Not much is happening on our system. I guess we can. I guess we're missing the one that would reject these things. We have the option to see attachments if we have the rule for it and can see it then. And yeah, so this is a good way to give users access to view content in a little easier way than you normally would have. Instead of giving them access to monitor everything, you will then be able to monitor just the specific thing. So this is just for CPI, and I think this makes a lot of sense because we are missing the option to search for data in that way. So let me just see if there's actually anything, and take this latency test out of the scope. So we actually got 3 other messages. So we can see here language detection. They have been recorded with some trace capability. I'm not sure if the trace is still available, but here you can see we can see other data, and you have the option to give this to a specific user so they can see 10 different iFlows in one tile and drill down and handle it in this way. So I think this makes some of your monitoring a lot easier. We also have rule-based monitoring of your CPI tenants. And here we have the option actually to see specific data. Yeah, so you can see here we have actually this test, so we have added the option to view this the payload that's being sent, and you can actually resend some of these messages depending on the state and if they have been resent. Paveen, I'm not sure what you mean with this. So it is a little more than just, well, this testing, or this is just monitoring what is going on in your landscape. So this is not much with testing, but more about the operation side, and you can then add this to create a ticket based on this incident. So if you're seeing something, you want to create a ticket on it, and you have the same way of setting up rules and alerts based on these things. yeah, so I think this makes some of the operations a little easier. Let's see, actually one of the other feature that we added was the abilities to actually see what was changed for some specific reason. So let's see, I've got mapping change. So let's try this one. So here we have ICO. So and what we have added is the ability to actually generate scenario documentation. And what would happen now is I would then get a Word document, if I open the correct one. And then my goal is obviously to try to just share this with you on the screen. Just add one. So yeah, Paveen, if you have more or could share a little more about them, please let me know. Video capture device, Word. That's not it. I guess I need to be a little more efficient in this properties. And let's see if this one is the one or it's this one. Oh, that's the wrong one. Don't do live videos, I guess, is the teaser. So hopefully you can see this now. No, it is not showing, which is pretty bad. But one of the challenges I often have when going in and doing documentation is that I can actually not see, and now you cannot see that either. But I've created a documentation and you would have a change log that looks at some kind of data, and you would actually not see any of the changes that have been made to this, which is kind of bad, because you would then just think, hey, it's just these things that we have. And I think that is maybe I do have the option there. Download. No. Okay. Yeah, so you will have to just have to try this out. It's normal Word document that describe all your different integration scenarios, and then what we will actually bring in is it will bring in all the tickets that you have assigned, and a ticket is like a service request that you have in your landscape and someone has asked you to do. So what you would actually get is this is what the system looked like currently, and over the last period of time, these are all the changes that have happened to it. So this makes it a lot easier to actually understand what is going on in your landscape. So I really like this one. It makes a lot of sense. And then I guess the next one would also be a little difficult going to show you. The idea is in your PI system, you have, let's see if I can get this to work in Excel. So what we have is we want to give you an idea of which systems has been affected, or how many times the message mapping has been processed, how many times it's running, and if you have test cases for it. So this is what we've added to this one. So it will correlate. Let's see if we can open. Apologies. Excel. This is not recording well. Oh well, no worries. We'll go back. So the idea behind this is maybe I have an idea. Let me just get through. page. Oh. Where does it have this? Oh well. Oh well. Try it out. Otherwise, see the blog. This will give you some idea about what's going on in the landscape, and you can then see some of these details. Yeah, and we have a lot of other things planned, making transports also possible, and the DevOps on the normal PI stack. I think this makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of things going on there, and still a lot of development is happening on that platform, and I think it makes a lot of sense to actually understand what's going on and how it can be improved. Yeah, so I wanted to create this webcast, just giving some ideas and on what we have done, why we have done it, and yeah, if you have more questions, yeah, put them into the chat. Let me know, and I will, yeah, write some comments or create more videos on these things. So yes, thanks for being on the new release show and seeing some of these different things that we have done here. So thanks for being on, and thanks for your comments and thoughts. Bye.